All right, so this won't be as many elderberry pies as I could have made if I had timed it better to have more pig familiars, but that's okay. It should still last me a long time. Yeah, 800,000. That should be hopefully enough to last me to the end of the expansion. So now it's time to go back to combat. I have to study combat a little bit. Well, I was saying I'm going to do summoning. Do summoning and make a lifetime supply of all of the different summoning combat familiars. I guess I'll start by making the devils so I can get those Eldritch Eyeballs. All right, here's the 200k Devil's Task, which should, if it works like the one in Melvor Realm, having the Eldritch Eyeballs should let me gain them from combat without actually needing to craft them first. It just checks to see whether you ever had any in your bank, I think. All right, so now I'll make stuff that I actually need for combat. All right, so I made about 300,000 of everything that matters. Next project is to start switching all of my agility obstacles over to combat stuff. So that's going to take me a minute. I feel like I need to check through them first and see what items I need to craft. I think the only one that I really need to do again, I can find it here somewhere. The one that gives me more, this one. Yeah, get the attack interval down. So I'll do this before I change anything else. I need Rundrum swords and Revenant short bows. You probably heard me say that like 5 times in a row, but there's been a long gap in between each time I've done it from my perspective. All right, I think I finally have all of my obstacles set up except for one. The forest climb, I want to swap to this guy. 30% accuracy for 6% chance to double loot down. I could get that down to 3% if I trained agility, but I can't be asked to do that. So I'm going to get this essence really quick and build this, and we'll just roll with it. It's not that big of a penalty to double loot chance. Okay, here we go. That should be the last one. Oh, and also the pillars. So let's switch those to the combat pillars. Pillar of combat. Pillar of conflict. Although that one is actually kind of bad. Maybe I don't want that one. Hit point regeneration, I guess, maybe matters now that I have things that make hit point regeneration better, but the life steal, that's mostly bad. I think I'd rather have the 8% chance to double to counteract the minus 6% chance to double up here. I'm just going to do that. None of this helps my DPS, right? It just slightly helps with survivability, but it's not super noticeable since the Slayer area negation doesn't work. This guy can be the combat one now, which is actually probably the best of the 3 obelisks. This guy can be give the enemy. Oh, I need to go get some ethereal souls. There's actually a couple of these where I have to go get some souls to swap them out. So I need some greater souls and I need some ethereal souls. So I'm going to try to work on that first. Probably a good way to get started back on doing combat. My easiest enemy to fight is probably a Catacomb Spore Slinger is the lowest combat level. It's a ranged enemy, so no, let's do something that's with melee so I don't have to worry about ammo or anything like that. I guess before I fully switch off of this, I should go ahead and make some nether throwing knives. I didn't really spend too much time on that before. All right, ended up getting enough greater souls from fighting this guy to get one of the agility shortcuts, obstacles that I needed. This one, Slayer coins, damage to Slayer region monsters. So the last one I need now is this one, which is 760 ethereal souls. So I got to make sure that I'm safely geared for that because I think the enemy that gives me ethereal souls is slightly dangerous for me to fight. Let's try to maximize my defenses here. I think I have a cape that I can get away with. Let's just search cape. This one is 2%. One's 5%. One's also 5%. Jade Veil would be nice to invest in, but let's go ahead and use one of the 5% ones here. Just want to like maximize the chance that I don't load into this fight and just get deleted instantly, you know? Although it kind of sucks to not have my superior max cape. We'll go in and then I'll maybe swap off of it. So I think the enemy that I can safely fight is in the regular, this thing, the Eldritch Ghoul. Let me play around with some settings first. All right, I had to really squeeze out the the abyssal resistance here to be safe, but I think I'm out of one-shot range now for this guy. I don't need terribly many drops from him. Need enough ethereal souls to be able to pick up this last upgrade, and then I should never need to swap these back off again, I think. 760, though. Still take a minute to get. Okay, let this run long enough. I finally have the last obstacle here. The main thing is the max hit to min hit, and the enemy gets minus 3% abyssal resistance. So these should all be combat oriented, except for this one, because there's nothing combat oriented. So I'm just taking the one that gives me global abyssal XP. Make sure I didn't miss any other ones here. Nothing really useful combat here. I mean, I guess chance preserve potions, but I should have enough potions if that's not a problem. Questionable whether I should take this guy or this guy for rune preservation. I'm probably going to switch to rune preservation eventually, but while I still need soul drops, I'll keep it on soul points related stuff. That's combat, that's combat, that's combat, and that's combat. And then these should, everything that's able to be combat should be on here. I'm going ahead and taking stuff that's like max hit points down because who cares? Like it's such a small number compared to the actual hit points I have in this expansion that it basically will never matter. So kind of favoring preservation chance over like damage. There's not a lot of situations where I'm actually having to have those compete with each other. Don't care about skill XP. Do something better for this one? Not really. I guess monster respawn timer. Or damage to all monsters is okay. 10% rune preservation is pretty convenient. Yeah, I don't want to have to go back to skilling is what I'm trying to avoid here. Hopefully I can do that. This looks pretty good to me, and then leave this one on chance to double because this kind of sucks. So I need to pick an enemy to overnight. It's time for me to go to bed. Don't want to overnight this guy because I already have all his drops. To make sure that whatever I pick is something that I can actually safely kill. I think I was just like, I think this guy drops Silent Surge Crossbow Shard. Let me start fighting him and see if he's problematic, I guess. Oh, I need this Whispering Sea Charter. Sure, I'm currently maxed on Abyssal Resist before I attempt it. See if he already has a max hit that's going to kill me here. No, he looks super safe. 20% of the enemy's max hit, 20% of your max hit points. Oh, of my max hit points. Silence. Make sure he doesn't have some kind of attack that I'm missing here. He just sucks because he does silence occasionally, but it looks like he's actually not very threatening at all. In fact, I might be able to focus a little bit more on DPS here. That's still relatively safe. Okay, I got Eldritch Eyeball to level 2. I don't know if I already have access to any synergies from that, but I'll take a look. But this is probably the guy I'm going to overnight. He drops Greater Souls, which I don't really need, but he drops these crossblade shards, which I can then use for melee after I wake up. I don't think I have any of those yet. I don't think I fought this guy before. No, I obviously haven't because I just unlocked the area to fight him. There's 3 enemies here. This is actually kind of similar to the Melvor realm. This guy drops a wand, and this guy drops crossbow. I don't know that I'm really going to be able to use the range stuff. I feel like I'm going to be stuck using throwing knives no matter what, just because they're so effective, you know? But I guess I'll leave it open if I have to. If I switch to the Superior Max Cape, I still am not getting one shot. Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to let this run. I guess I'll double check really quick to make sure I'm not like coming close to running out of throwing knives, and then we'll send an update in the morning. I'm going to start, I guess from your perspective, clips are clips, who cares? But I haven't really been updating over here at all. I've just been telling you when I start a skill and when I get to level 60. But now I've got stuff to update on whenever I wake up in the morning, so we'll let you know if I've got enough drops to make this this weapon. All right, checking in on overnighting this for, oh, did I get ranged Okay, I got Range, Slayer, and Corruption to 60 already. Right on. I didn't think I was that close, and way overshot it on Crossblade Shards, but that's completely fine. I was mostly doing it for the XP, to be honest. Centaur's maxed out. Eyeballs to level 3. Let's definitely pick up all the skill tree upgrades from that. That's very exciting. Hit points is not quite at max. 10% lifesteal is pretty good, just to be passive, and this is pretty good too. Okay, ranged. Get everything. Pretty significant damage improvement, I believe. Player coins up. 25% flat area negation is fantastic to just be a passive. And then that's fine. It's not super amazing. Okay, let's go ahead and make this crossblade thing. And then I'm going to gear up to go fight someone else. Okay, I think I'm all set up here fighting the corrupted whispering octopus. I don't think I have any risk of it killing me. Completely safe. Gonna let this run and try to level attack strength and defense. I'm gonna try to get his wand is what I'm going for here. I need 100 shards. It's the same drop rate, so I'll probably overshoot it if I fight it for too long. It took me a minute to realize this. Well, more than a minute. I got all the way to corruption virtual level 64, but I don't need to auto corrupt stuff anymore. Don't need to spend the soul points on it, and I don't need the XP, and it'll make these fights a little bit more consistent because I tend to kill them before they corrupt themselves anyway. I guess I only need to turn it back on if the enemy's combat level is high enough to trigger these guys, but I've unlocked everything at the combat level of this Whispering Octopus, so that's kind of nice. It's a nice reward for getting to 60 corruption of not having to deal with them all having randomized buffs that make them more annoying to kill. Okay, once again, way overshot my target here and have way too many wand shards, but that's okay. I did hit point 60. That's very nice. And maxed out the Eldritch Eyeball. I think hit point 60 is pretty useful. Heal 0.5% of current hit points every one turn. 3% maximum hit points. Both of those are great. The heal every one turn, I think, if I'm using, if I've got my attack interval down to 0.25 seconds, should be pretty substantial healing. It should almost totally eliminate my food usage at most encounters, I would think. I'll be healing so much. I want the food for the buff, so I don't want to run out of the food because I just want to be getting the buff, right? But I've got this wand now. Let's go ahead and craft it. I don't think I want to bother with the crossbow, so I just have to figure out what I want to work on next. Let me think about it for a second. Obviously, I want to try to train melee and magic until both of them are 60, and then I'll switch to something else. So hopefully I'll fight something that's also a magic enemy. All right, fighting this Eldritch Mind Eater because it occasionally drops a Mind Visage, which has 50% chance to ignore fear, which I think combined with this ring is pretty substantial chance to ignore fear. That would be really good because fear is very bad. It's probably the most dangerous status effect that I have to deal with right now, especially if I'm doing like throwing knives because it can really throw off my whole plan of being at 0.25 attack interval. So I don't know if it actually has an application or if there's a boss where you really need it, but it's a unique item that I feel like is worth going for. Checking in on 10 hours of combat. Let's see how this goes. Definitely way overkill for this guy, but I'm training stats right now, to be honest. Attack 59 and 19 mind visages, so yeah, I've got more than enough of those. Go ahead and spend these skill points. Also might is 60. Pretty close. I'll try to find something else to fight here once this one dies. I'm just gonna fight this Eldritch Seeker guy. He's not particularly exciting, but I don't really have a lot of interesting magic enemies that I can fight safely now. I definitely need to start running the Abyssal Strongholds and dungeons, but I have to do a little bit more research repair for those. So I don't think I'm gonna be doing that with melee. Probably just it might be a little inefficient, but I kind of just want to get my combat skills to 60. That's gonna make me as prepared as possible. Once I get attack to 60, I probably should have started with defense actually to get the fully upgraded Slayer gear. I wasn't thinking about that. Try to get defense to 55. Melee, switch to magic, and then after that, I just need to try to get all the uniques that I need. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Actually, I did a test, and it looks like I can do Auto Slayer safely. I'm just fighting the enemy with the highest max hit in the isolation tier, and I think I can do all that on melee, so it's probably the way to go. I need tons of Slayer coins for everything, so I will do that instead. Hopefully I'll have enough Slayer coins to buy all the stuff I need. Hey, there we go. Attack 60. Let's go ahead and switch to defense, which my accuracy is going to be much worse, but that's okay. This should help offset it. Right, I get a bunch of bonus accuracy for that. It's only like 79% chance to hit, so it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just gonna run defense probably until 55. Maybe then I'll switch to strength. But I want to be able to upgrade my Slayer gear. At this for a bit, I am Mark of the Yak level 4, which means I now have everything maxed. All the familiars are finally maxed. That's cool. I got this echoing amulet at some point. I think it's probably worth equipping. Similar or better abyssal resistance. Better abyssal resistance than the power amulet. Yeah, let's give that a try. Then let me save it as a quick slot because it's probably convenient. Just review the comparison to the one I was just using. Yeah, it's hard to say if that's better for DPS than reducing the enemy abyssal resist, which is what the other amulet was doing, but I always like interval reduction, so I'll use it for now, and its base stats are decent. Okay, I let this run a little bit too long for my objective, but I am 56 defense now, so I can upgrade my Slayer armor. Let me run away really quick and do that once this guy dies. Let's pick up, oops, this node. There we go. Okay. So I should be able to pick this up. I think it costs 60 of the tokens here. I need a total of 60 million for each gear upgrade. Go here and we click upgrade, and I have the necessary stats for it. And that should be the final level of the Slayer gear, which is a pretty substantial upgrade, and no more upgrade options. Re-equip those guys and get back to it. Can probably switch to strength now. I guess I will. I don't really need the last defense upgrade. More damage would be good. Did complete a task from all that, though. I might end up completing this one, too, for the Whispering Drifters. Oh, I got another task here. A decent number of tasks, actually. Up to 51. I need 65 to unlock all of the purchases from the trader, but this is the last one, the production scroll, and I'm probably never going to use that, so it doesn't really matter. I feel like I've come along far enough that I can try to fight these enemies now who drop new weapons. I'm probably not going to use the Nightmare Longbow, but I think the Hollow Reaper Scythe is going to be an upgrade over this Silent Surge Crossblade. I think the same thing for the Hollow Doom Staff, so I'm going to try to fight the Reaper. I'm going to re-gear. I went ahead and bought the upgraded, here we go, Slayer gear for ranged as well. I have to unlock this new zone, which is 100 million Slayer coins, which is all my coins. I only need 125 million plus 60 million to get the magic upgrade, and then we shall be good to go. Which should be pretty doable if I keep AFKing the isolation tier, but I want to have a better weapon for continuing to do this. I don't think I'll ever have to go above isolation. I think this is like super overkill, since I'm already way past 60 Slayer. I just need the coins at this point. Okay, I really had to squeeze out just barely enough HP and auto-eat threshold to be able to kill this guy successfully, because his max hit's really nasty. Unless, no, is that 61,666? Maybe it's not as nasty as I thought it was. Maybe I thought that that was 600,000. I do have 95% abyssal resistance. Maybe I can tone this down and use some better gear. I'll putz with it. Yeah, I've actually like excessively oversolved. I thought that this was an extra digit in there and that he was like definitely going to one-shot me, but I don't even think that that's necessary. I can really start switching to my big damage stuff here. Okay. Yeah, I think I just over prepared and saw the number was really high, and I was like, man, he's like nuking me. And it's like, no, no, no. You have 95% abyssal resistance. Means he basically can't hurt you. Let's switch this to the glasses. Now we're getting a little closer. Now we're doing like 400k damage, which is absorbable. Okay, I think I got it to right above the problem. So I'm able to equip this Lurker gem, which eventually gets my health down to 557k. And he at maximum does 556k. So yeah, this is safe now, and it's actually pretty fast. I was thinking these enemies are going to be way more dangerous than they actually are, but I guess there's not a lot of room to make them more dangerous without making them impossible to kill without every last abyssal resist bonus. But it is good to know that I have so many resist options. I need to start keeping an eye out. I'm eventually going to find an enemy that drops armor, maybe. Okay, these guys drop the endgame weapons and the Void Nexus. Probably want to unlock this as soon as I can. It does require that I complete... I guess no, I can already do this, question mark? Slayer... I have to do Depths of Dissolve first to get this. 125 million Slayer coins. I'll probably start working on dungeons again soon. Did these guys drop? Okay, they drop Voidium helmets. Okay, they're for each combat style. These are very similar to the final enemies in the Throne of the Herald expansion. Maybe the gear sets I'm thinking of, I think they might drop from one of these dungeons here. There's a loot chest. Okay, this is what I'm thinking of. Plate legs, body, legs, robes, bottoms. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to start assembling a better gear set soon, but I think that the final upgraded Slayer tier with 20% abyssal resistance is pretty solid in the meantime. This Hollow Reaper drop is 1 in 1,000, so I might be here for a while. It's kind of unfortunate because I don't need the ranged XP. I guess I could switch to doing long range, but that's so much slower. Maybe it doesn't matter if I have the Ring of Barrage, since that's going to drive me down to a faster attack speed really quickly. Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's worth it to be getting XP in something that I need to level up anyway, so I'll just let that run until we get the scythe to drop. Oh man, I just realized I made a gigantic mistake. This enemy drops Echo Walker boots, which are way, way better than these Seismic Wave boots, and I didn't even know they were on the docket. They give you a stacking attack interval bonus, and they have 15% abyssal resistance. So let me get one more kill at this guy, and then I will go get those boots and come back to him, because it should make this quite a bit faster. All right, I went pretty dry on this, but finally got these boots to drop. I'll go ahead and equip those, and we'll go back to trying to get the scythe. Well, I've been killing this guy for a while. I only get about 250 kills an hour, so I'm not quite dry yet, but I still don't have the scythe. I'll probably check this on my phone before I go to sleep, so I'll just wake up in the morning and tell you what I'm fighting next. I don't know what to work on after this guy. Probably going to end up being maybe this Hollow Harbinger. If I can fight with melee, I just have to make sure that I'm not going to get killed by it. Get the Hollow Doom staff. Okay, checking in on a lot of hours actually. I did finally get these scythes, getting about 2,000 kills, so may have been a little dry, but did overkill, so it's totally fine. 60 defense though, that's cool. That's actually super useful because that gives me plus 3% abyssal resistance. It's really, really helpful to just have that by default. But I came here for the scythe. I got the scythe. I'm going to re-equip for the scythe, and then I think we're going to keep trying to get these better weapons. I guess this means I could have skipped... When did I get? I could have skipped this wand, because I don't think I'll end up using it. Maybe I'll use it if I have a fight where I can't use a two-handed weapon, but I'm going to try to grab this Hollow Doom staff now that I have the scythe. Real quick, before I get that weapon, I'm going to try to get these Phantom Shift plate legs. They're only a 1 in 150, and I think that they're a abyssal resistance upgrade over my existing netherite plate legs U. Actually, making all that gear that I needed to use all those Obsurian bars, most of it gets outclassed instantly. Like, already the Slayer gear is better than all of it, and then the pants are able to be outclassed, and the boots are able to be outclassed super fast. So I kind of regret spending so much time on that, but what are you going to do, I guess?
Another task completion here. 400 Murmuring Wallow Tails. Must have just been from doing Slayer. Uh, Probably get to 65 task completions, but it doesn't matter, right? This is the last item I need, and it's just +1 primary resource and production skills, which I guess is somewhat useful, but I think I'm basically done with Township. Hey, I got the pants to drop. Okay. We go ahead and loot those. Equip them really quick. They're not as good for DPS, but I just want to make sure I've totally maxed out on defense before attempting to fight this guy, and then I can slowly introduce lower defense stuff. That's good. Push this to the yak. Okay. So yeah, we want to try to get the Hollow Doom Staff from this Hollow Harbinger. Is also a 1 in 1,000 drop. And we're completely fine on resistance, so I can start taking some off. Let's see. Okay, I think I got this guy to where he's totally safe. Feel really secure with my abyssal resistance options now because I can way over cap. The cap is 95%, and I can get over the cap pretty easily, even against enemies that really significantly debuff it. So hopefully I'll be able to do some dungeons soon. I'm just going to try to kill this guy to get this staff, and then I'm going to continue to grind, probably just Slayer tasks to finish unlocking everything I need to unlock from Slayer, and then we can start working on the dungeons and the strongholds. Let this guy run for about 4 hours and did get the staff. That's good. A little bit underrate this time, so making up going a little dry on the other guy. I'll do this kill, and then I gotta find something new to fight. Probably I'm just gonna keep running Slayer to get the coins. If there's anything else super pressing that I need. Still grinding out Slayer here, getting my strength's up to 57. I have some time to play a little attentively here, so I'm gonna attempt the dungeon. This is the which one? Depths of Dissolve. I think we do that with melee. I figure it's worth a try. And I'm not going to change my gear. I'm going to try it with what I currently have and see how it goes. I think most of the dungeon's going to be relatively safe. There's a couple of ranging enemies that are a little dangerous I'm watching out for here. I'm not using the recommended gear from the wiki, but I also have better gear than the wiki recommends, so maybe it'll be fine. We will find out. Up against my first ranged enemy, and it's not a threat at all. It's not even doing half of my auto-eat threshold, so that's fine. Will say that getting hit with fear sucks really bad with this scythe because it's like a 6-second debuff, and there's really nothing you can do about it. I can maybe look into some potion options and see if there's something I can do to minimize it, but it's not great. The other ranged enemy, and he's also not a big deal. I guess he can put me to sleep, which is maybe bad. It would increase the max hit, but I don't think that the extra damage from sleep, yeah, it's not enough to make a difference. Suspect this boss is going to have a chance to ignore Eldritch Curse since all the enemies do Eldritch Curse in here, but Eldritch Curse might make the boss fight quite a bit more tolerable than the other bosses because it disables their life steal and regen, which is the main thing you're trying to overcome. So I'm actually kind of interested to see once I get to the boss how that plays out here. All right, so the actual dungeon's completely safe, no problems. Let's see the boss here. Initially, the boss's attacks all look fine. The enemy slows itself. He can sleep me, so I guess we want to watch for that. Chance to ignore fear, 80% chance to ignore Eldritch Curse. Chance to apply Eldritch Curse. Oh, but I'm deleting him. Wow, I wasn't even paying attention. So yeah, whenever Eldritch Curse does land, I guess it's a whoa. That was bad. Never mind. He did something to heal to full. What the fuck? Let me see if I can figure out what caused him to heal so much all at once. Oh, the enemy slows itself, gaining 100% attack interval, gains plus 50% max hit points, 50% life steal, and heals for this amount of their max HP. So it seemed like I was just deleting him, but he must do something to himself that lets him essentially top off for free. Okay. That's cool. I'm able to corrupt myself pretty easily and prevent him from corrupting, although I probably want him to corrupt because he has a high enough combat level that I might be able to learn new corruptions from him. I guess we'll see if he just corrupts on his own eventually. I have to decide, maybe getting my chance to hit higher is more important here than having the additional enemy abyssal resist down. Landing every hit's pretty important. I'm trying to see if like he just gets gigantic free heals or what's going on with that exactly. Every time I stun him and then get a hollow reap off and hit it, because every time you do hollow reap, you hit like 7 times in a row. It's pretty powerful. But it's just a matter of getting the stun timing to be just right. It might make sense to do this fight with a synergy that lets you sleep the boss, because sleep is pretty powerful. No, he still heals for a lot. It's interesting. Every other boss seems like they heal constantly, whereas this boss heals in giant bursts occasionally. I went ahead and threw on my elusive boots for a long enough time to get 10 stacks of this, because that's a pretty big effect when my base attack interval is so huge, and that seems to be really speeding up the fight. So I'll probably just equip that manually each time I get up to him. But I don't have any risk of him killing me. It's kind of a marathon here to keep him from healing himself too much, you know? Think I'm going to get the kill here, unless if he like suddenly heals for most of his health. It is pretty painful when he slows me with bad timing like that. Beautiful when he's both stunned and feared at the same time. Please don't heal yourself by a bunch before you die, dude. You're almost dead. Hey, oh, and I got the pet right away. Oh, that's a really good pet, too. First kill pet that gives permanent plus 1% abyssal resistance. Thank you. I will happily take that. I think, how am I doing on pets? Did I miss the one from, okay, I got to go back to Depths of Ruin and Isolation. I'll have to check what they are, because if they're not super important, I won't go out of my way to get them right now. But that's nice to have gotten at least a clear. Let's see if we get anything good from the chest. We sure didn't. I already have way more than enough shards. I'll do a couple more clears just to. It's probably worth picking up this guy before I release any more souls. I already effectively have infinite soul points, but just to fully secure that. Okay, second kill. I went ahead and switched to the thing that lets me put him to sleep, and that seemed to help a little bit. I'll probably just stay on top of that, and we'll see if I learn any new corruptions here. Can learn potentially a bunch of them from him. Oh, I got an Eldritch Reaper plate body, and the Eldritch core is actually really good. So the plate body is worse than the Slayer plate body. Probably won't be using this guy. But this I can use with my other ring, the Powerful Abyss ring. This is a 25% chance to ignore fear, 25% chance to ignore Eldritch Curse, chance to apply fear, and it has decent abyssal resist. So I think we swap to this over the ring I'm currently using, the Obsidian Melee Breaker ring, just because ignoring fear is huge when I'm using this stupid scythe. It gets me up to a 45% chance to ignore fear. I can probably pump that somewhere. I could wear that mask that I got, this thing. That'll get me to a 95%, although the stats on it are pretty bad. Not giving me really many bonuses. Maybe it's worth it, though, because fear really, really, really sucks. I guess if I try it, I should pay attention and make sure I'm not at risk of getting one shot by anything. Give it a shot. There instead. Fear is bad for a lot of complicated reasons. I think that just suddenly going from your attack interval being like 1 second to 6 seconds, it has a bunch of stacking multiplicative impacts, right? Where like if you are put to sleep and it's going to take you 6 seconds to clear your sleep, all of that is time that the enemy is hitting you, guaranteed to hit you, right, and heal themselves. So I think maybe fear immunity is worth losing a little bit of DPS. We'll find out when I get to the boss again. I do think I want to run this for a while because there's a whole lot of good drops from this dungeon. I'll at least run it 10 times. Depths of Resolve. I think these gloves are really good. They're better abyssal resistance in the glove slot. I think having access to more Eldritch Curse is less valuable than having access to stun, which is what I have on my current gloves. But just having a gloves upgrade in case I desperately need to squeeze out the abyssal resistance is probably worth it. Most of this other gear I think is outclassed, but it would be nice to get some of it. Yes, I think this is the other item that I really need. Everything else is kind of optional at the moment. But I'll at least get the 10 clears to get this upgrade, this guy. I guess technically I need to clear this 15 times to do the Stronghold of Nightmares, which is probably worth it. So we'll stay at least that long then. Probably need to check out these strongholds soon. I've been kind of avoiding them, but I think I'm getting to the point where I'm powerful enough that I can probably just power through them. Okay, well, I loaded into this fight and somehow immediately deleted his health. Unless if that, maybe it seems like I'm doing a bunch of damage, but it's just because he's doing the thing that increases his max HP. That's probably more likely what's happening. And that makes it just look like he's taken way more damage than he actually has. Okay. I see. So when it seems like he just healed a lot, it's not that he healed, it's that the plus 50% max HP buff wore off. Okay. Gotcha. Hard to evaluate the benefit of not being able to get slowed here because he rolled probably the worst possible corruption. Minus 10% attack interval just makes him way faster. It kind of sucks going because this is like the one enemy I really don't want to get corrupted because any kind of corruption can really significantly, it can cause this fight to take like 10 times as long depending on which one he rolls. But it's the only way for me to get new corruptions and it's a main way I can like continue to advance in the expansion. So I guess I'll keep letting it auto corrupt. On the off chance I get something lucky. I think there's only one corruption that's outstanding that I can't learn from him, and it's this one, but his combat level is high enough that I can get every other one in the game if I get lucky and he rolls it. But it's a 1 in 500 chance, so probably not happening. Got these Eldritch Nightmare legs, which I actually will use. I think my pants slot is my most vulnerable slot at the moment, the one that I really need to replace with better gear. This will be an upgrade for ranged. All right, got the magic version of those legs, which is pretty good. I think the helmets aren't going to be very helpful because I'm going to be using the Slayer helmet, but I did get that too. Stepped away for a bit, got a total of 9 chests here. So some of these are new. These boots are for mage, and I probably will use them. 18% abyssal resistance is pretty helpful on boots. Probably won't use this one though. You have my 10 clears now, so I'm going to pick that up. That's the most points I'm going to get for releasing souls basically ever. Let's see, let's do these guys. I got tons of them. Yeah, I should be fine on soul points basically forever. And then I still need to get a couple more clears to be able to do the Stronghold of Nightmares. And I might go back and I never got the superior enhancement from the Stronghold of Blight, but that's because it's basically useless. Double check what the stats are on it. But I think the Fear one and the Nightmares one are actually kind of useful. So I just have to figure out what the enemies are. I don't think you can know right away. Oh, just these two. I guess I could fight that with melee and be okay. Maybe we'll give it a try. Alright, here's my 15th clear. Go ahead and attempt the stronghold now. Let's just give it a try. It should be fine, I think. Alright, well, I guess you can't see the clock here, but we're definitely back to it taking a long fucking time to clear a stronghold. Probably like 1 or 2 clears per hour. So going dry on some of the different tiers of enhancements would be pretty annoying. You need to get all these pets, though. I think they're all pretty useful. Let me double check. And the one for the final stronghold is 2% attack interval down, which is not debatable. I have to get that one. The one for this one is life steal, which is you can probably avoid. Kind of convenient, but I don't really like it. Fear stronghold is max hit points, which is going to be mandatory. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up spending maybe a week or 2 on strongholds. It's going to be a mess. All right, made it to the boss for the first time. It's going about as slowly as it does normally. But he's a little bit debugged by the fact that I can actually get Eldritch Curse on him. I gotta make sure I equip everything that helps with loot doubling right at the end just to maximize my chances of being done with this sooner. And it didn't double. Pain. I think honestly, before I do terribly much more of this, I should try to get the whip from this guy. Void Vortex Whip Shard. because it's going to be my ultimate weapon, I think, and it should make this faster, hopefully. To do that, though, I'm almost out of netherite throwing knives, so I think I'm going to back out and go make throwing knives for a while, and then see if I can get enough Slayer coins to unlock this place, and then just fight this guy until the whip drops, or until I get enough shards for the whip. I need like 100 of them, I think. I want to make sure I'm preparing myself for success here and not doing this when I could be grinding it much more quickly with a better weapon. Okay, so I couldn't record for a second there, but I did end up making almost 200,000 throwing knives, which I don't know if they're going to make it all the way to the end of the expansion, but I'm going to try to stretch them as far as I can. And I've just been doing some Slayer tasks to get the coins necessary to buy the Slayer region here. And now I'm just going to try to stack Abyssal Resistance and see if I can overnight this Void Entity to try to make this whip. That's my current project. Okay, so I'm already seeing that I am super overkill right now. I guess Void Burst is a little scary, but I don't think it can actually cause me to die. It would just trigger auto eat when it stacks. So I can start turning some of this off. So let's switch to this. Okay, still at 95%. I gotta figure out what's the order in which I should switch stuff. I want to get my max ammo savings from the max skill cape, so that's still fine. I could try to swap off this, although it's a little bit less important. Having a higher chance to hit. What's my accuracy right now? 76%. Equip this guy and see if that's a huge deal. Okay, that is making him hit a bit harder, but still not really a problem. Keep making some swaps here until it looks like it's going to be problematic. I think getting this is probably better because it's against a stun. All right, I think I got a pretty good situation here. Relatively solved. I'm not in any danger of dying. I should be able to overnight it. Do think I'm going to have to fight him. Maybe overnighting might not be enough. I might not get enough drops here. I'm going to go ahead and equip this just to slightly reduce my chance of getting feared because fear seems really bad against him. And it gives me a chance to fear him, which is kind of convenient. Yeah, he's dying relatively quickly. Don't think there's too much else I'd want to change here. Okay. Yep. I'll give you an update in a few seconds from your perspective. Okay, I killed this guy overnight. Really just going for the Void Whip shards, which I do have enough for now, so that's quite nice. Go ahead and make this weapon. This is going to be our final melee weapon, I think. Cool. Let's give this guy a try. I'm going to try to do these strongholds. That's the reason I went for it, but I might also see if I can fight this guy to get his wand, which is going to be my final magic weapon. Okay, so the Abyssal Resist problem is once again eminently solvable. Wow, yeah, this whip's pretty fast. That's cool. I think I can pretty easily swap out of it. Out of some of the stuff I have, that is, to make sure that I can actually damage him. Although this one seems like it takes a lot longer to kill. I'm just going to keep paying attention to max head to make sure I don't die, and I'll switch out stuff until I have lots of damage in here. I'm probably not going to fight this guy right now. It's something I'm going to have to like overnight later to get the wand. But I just want to see how killable it is. And the answer is very. Oh, it's a good thing that I already maxed out attack and defense because this whip prefers being on strength. I'm pretty close to being done with strength. It's one more level. If this guy dies just fine, I've gotten a couple of the wand shards. I'll AFK him later. Let's go ahead and try to do the stronghold. I know I can do that with melee. Stronghold of Nightmares. Yeah, well, this has definitely increased my clear speed on this stronghold. It's still pretty slow, but it's not as bad as it was before. Something I'm going to do after this clear, I'm going to go back to the Depths of Dissolve because I'd like to get the Eldritch Curse gloves. Right now, because I'm using this instead of the Scythe, I don't have any real big source of Eldritch Curse, and I think that's pretty important for fighting the bosses so that they're not healing constantly. This is a decent source of it. It's a 5% chance, but the gloves are pretty good. I'm going to dig those up. Bosses are still dying pretty fast here, so the Void Whip is pretty cool. But I will try to go get that Eldritch Curse gloves. I think that's gonna help a little bit, especially with bosses like this that have a decent chance of ignoring Eldritch Curse. So this one, oh no, there it is, 80% chance of ignoring Eldritch Curse. It would be nice to get that up to basically have 100% uptime on it. Well, that's unfortunate. I have 3 of the circle enhancement. That sucks. Here we go. Strength 60. Only have one more skill to get to 60, and it's magic. I will work on soon. Let me continue trying to get this pair of Void Burst gloves first. Okay, still getting dungeon clears here. See if I got 10 of these chests. No gloves yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to bail on this right now because it takes me a really long time to get even a single drop. And I just keep getting duplicates. Like a 1 in 45 or something. I think what I would do instead, I don't know. I guess I could start trying to level magic because I need magic for the next dungeon anyway. I'll do one more clear here and then try to make a decision. All right, I think I'm going to come back to this in a second just because it's a really long grind and I just haven't been getting any new drops. This is a melee drop. Probably not going to use it, but 18% on boots in case I don't want the echoing boots for some reason. All right, I'm going to try to finish getting magic to 60 is my next project. Guess, let me double check if the wand that drops from this guy, Voidfire Cascade wand, what level that requires. I might want to get that first. Means it's silly that I went and got all the other magic weapons. It does require 55 magic, so I may as well just level magic regularly with the Hollow Doom staff. Let's start with that. This guy only requires 50. Yeah, okay. All right, I finally built up 60 million Slayer coins, which should be enough to get all of the Slayer gear upgrade kits I need here. Two lots of that. All right, and now I don't need Slayer coins for anything. I guess I can buy some of these contracts or resupplies maybe. But it's nice to not need Slayer coins anymore. I can swap off of this guy and this guy. Since I don't need Slayer coins, I don't need to fight Slayer enemies, so I won't. I'm trying to pick something else that I can just kind of AFK. I'm going to maximize XP, so we want to fight a ranged enemy, but until I get more Abyssal Resistance from getting to 55 magic and upgrading my Slayer gear, I don't think I want to fight anything other than, oh, like this enemy can actually kill me, so good one to click off on. Let me decide what I want to fight here. Still need the pet from the Depths of Ruin, so, and I think that one requires me to fight with magic, or it's okay to fight with magic, so we'll give that a shot here. Okay, finally got this pet. Not a particularly useful one, although evasion ratings are somewhat helpful with the way dungeons work here, since not getting hit means not healing the boss. I don't think I need to keep running this dungeon. I think it's pretty pointless. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do the Stronghold of Fear? I think I could do the Stronghold of Fear with magic, and the reward from the Stronghold of Fear is decent. I haven't run this at all so far, and I'm about to go live with stream, so I'm going to be letting it run for 5 hours, which means I might get all of the enhancements. I might overkill it, but I might also not overkill it because it's still like a 1 in 12 to get the square enhancement. So I really just need magic XP. It doesn't really matter what I do. So I think going ahead and going to the stronghold is fine. Let's do that. Okay, we're here post stream. Let's see. I got a bunch of clears. 34. Well, maybe not 34 clears, but 34 items. Black hole I'll probably end up using. Should be all 3, I would hope. Yeah, okay. Very cleanly all 3. I guess I'm almost done with the run, so I'll just let this run finish, I guess. Let me upgrade this stuff really quick. Something at least. You upgrade, there we go. And you upgrade, there we go. Beautiful. We'll set those to our auto equip shortcut. Very nice. Now that I'm 55, I can technically wield that wand that drops from this guy. So that's probably going to be my next farming project, is to do that. This superior enhancement seems absolutely worth going for because it's chance to ignore fear, which is good because fear is really bad. Global critical hit multiplier, which is good. That's DPS, and then abyssal resistance. So all three of those are useful. I don't know which superior I'm going to replace, but getting abyssal resistance is probably worth it just for that. But these other two are also quite useful. All right, I cleared the level 2 stronghold once and got the circle, so not super great. I'm gonna go ahead and fight the thing I said I was gonna fight. Get the wand, Void Fire Cascade wand. Okay, fighting this guy. The other nice thing about him is he drops void runes, which I need to cast some of the more powerful endgame spells like Black Hole. Void runes you can't crap. You can only get them from combat. All right, checking in the next day. Definitely got overkill on these Cascade Wand shards, but that's all right. Yeah, I've got 138 of them. Slightly really need to overnight this, but I also kind of do need to overnight it, otherwise I'll be sitting on it most of the morning. Now I have that, let's go back and do the Stronghold so I can get magic to 60. Stronghold of Fear is my objective here. Okay. All right, this wand is way faster than the Hollow Staff. It is like melting Karn the Fearbringer. Well, melting from my perspective usually takes a couple minutes to kill him, and now he's dying like almost a normal boss. That's cool. All right, so we're trying to do this augmented fear stronghold, but it occurs to me I should probably try to do the depths of resolve because if I can clear it 10 times, then I get an interval reduction. Actually, probably could have held out and done this before doing all my skilling because it is an interval reduction for non-combat skills, but it's been a long time getting this far, and it's been really nice to have all the benefits from maxing skilling first before doing this. Yeah, I'm going to try depths of resolve as soon as this temp wraps up here. All right, we'll just see if I happen to get lucky here. Maybe I'll get the square. Great. Plus 2% abyssal resistance. Come on. Nope. All right. Let me gear up and try depths of resolve. I'm just going to try to max out my abyssal resist as usual. Just do my best to make sure that I take as little damage as possible. Okay, attempting it now. First couple enemies are pretty rough, especially the melee ones, but it's okay if I'm completely maxed out on abyssal resist. I haven't run into something that's going to kill me yet. Ugh, this enemy rolled 50% evasion, and I'm just having to reassign everything to be able to have a chance to hit it. I got my hit chance down to 20%. It was awful. Should be okay, but I really need to use this weakening curse to like reduce their max hit, to reduce the damage that I'm taking. A little scary. These guys should be fine, I think. Okay, super dangerous enemy here, the corrupted Void Gargantuan. This dungeon might actually make sense for me to make different equipment sets and swap between them. Just because it's like really slow to kill this guy. Got too much regen, I think, is the problem. Yeah, especially if I can't get Eldritch Curse on him. Taking way too long to kill with magic, so I just hot swap to throwing knives here. I'll kill 2 of them that way, but I'll probably, next time I attempt this, I'll set up gear sets. I really hate doing gear sets because I can't carry over the enhancements to each of them, but okay, I think it might speed this place. Yeah, this is going much better now. Now he's actually dying. I think the plan would be to just have a backup gear set for dealing with the melee enemies, because I think everything else is fine with magic. But the first enemy is melee, and then you fight 2 Void Gargantuans and 2 Greater Void entities back to back, and they suck with magic. Do not want to be fighting them with magic. Coming up on the actual boss here. I think maybe I can avoid having to like overly gear for defense, like with resist, if I'm just swapping combat styles throughout. It's messy, but I don't need to be able to AFK this place necessarily. I'm able to play it a little attentively today. I'm going to try to get, because you can get a double corruption if you have imp plus eyeball, and I can just do that before the enemy gets corrupted and then swap off of it, right? Okay, so it does have some nasty attacks to start with. Do this until I get my corruption, and then I'll swap back off. Go that. I have accuracy and abyssal resist up, sure. It's kind of overkill with the abyssal resist, actually. So once this one dies, I'm going to have to come up with a different strategy for my next attempt. This probably isn't the way I want to fight him here, where I'm just constantly having to micromanage what all I have equipped, but chance to hit seems pretty good. Uh, Even with that sudden plus bonus to resist, I think I'm basically okay. Now he's doing something that's affecting his max hit. Accuracy penalty. Oh, do I not have? Oh shit. Bell's got unequipped when I was moving stuff around. Annoying. Okay. Well, whatever. I can fight him fine with magic. It's just going to be a pain for me to get these first 10 clears. Going pretty well here. I'm going to try to swap in the corrupted signet when he's almost dead to try to get a double drop. That doesn't put me at any risk of dying here. Signet. Okay, I got a clear. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, so what I'm going to try to do, just because gear sets suck, I'm going to try to just hot swap using this guy. Can I? Doesn't go in the slot. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to hot swap using this and just have the rest of my magic gear on, because I don't think having the magic gear is really significantly debuffing my DPS with the throwing knives, and just use that for the melee enemies and try not to make an entire gear set, since entire gear sets kind of suck. Those are both bad, sadly. What I really need here, I need the Void Burst gloves, the most important. The shield would be nice, the cape would be nice. If I can get those early, that would be fantastic. But time to go clear this 9 more times. Okay, so just switching to the throwing dagger and not switching anything else worked completely fine for the first enemy, which is melee. Now I just need to see if it works okay for the Void Gargantuan. All right, second clear is going fine, just swapping to the throwing knives as soon as the melee guys show up. It's still pretty slow, and I am not going to be able to play attentively soon, so I'm going to have to switch to something that I can AFK. So I'm probably just going to go back to AFKing that stronghold for magic XP, but I'll come back here whenever I'm able to play attentively is the plan. All right, just got a second clear. Their double drop. Hope for the best. Okay, I think that's for Ranger. The runes are nice too. Yeah, that's for ranged. 21% abyssal resist. That's better than consumables. That'll be my third clear. I think I'll be able to squeeze in one more clear before I can't play attentively, and then I'm going to switch to the stronghold. Unfortunately, another shit chest. I've been lucky on chests in the Abyss, generally. All right, got my fourth clear here. More void runes. I do need those, since I have no other way to get them. And I'm out of time, so I'm going to go just run the stronghold now. All right, checking in on an hour of the advanced stronghold here. Hopefully I can bail out. We're at magic 59, which is nice. Give me a square, please. It did give me a square, just barely, though. No reason to keep running this one then, so I will leave. I can play attentively in a second, but let me do the superior stronghold once, just for shits and giggles. Okay, stronghold of fear. Here we go. All right, the superior stronghold is like barely more difficult. Actually, quite trivial. So I'll do this one clear, and then we'll go back since I can pay attention to try to get that interval reduction from doing the depths of resolve. No pet, no drop. That's fine. Wasn't expecting it. Let's go back to depths of resolve. Equip this guy. We just want to have mostly a focus on abyssal resist. And I probably want to change. We can keep the 2% abyssal resist there, but this guy can be Magic one, magic enhancement superior. Okay, that should be fine. Depths of resolve. Let's go. All right, this is my 5th clear, so we're about halfway done. Check on resolute chests here. Well, nothing good. I mean, I'll take the void runes. That's not bad. This is probably the best way to get them is from running this dungeon, honestly. But all right, 5 more clears. Hey, and there's magic level 60, which means I now have every skill in the game to 60. Very exciting stuff. Check that out. All done. Beautiful. One time, yeah, this is all 100%. Still is 100% completion. You love to see it. Just because I'm nervous, I have spent every skill point. Well, I have now. 8% extra damage from equipment's pretty good. Another double drop here. Got the Void Gem this time, which I don't think I'm using. I don't think Void Burst is that good. I don't think it beats, attack interval reduction, which is what I get from the Agile Gem and the Lurker Gem. So it's neat, I guess. I feel like Void Burst needs to be stronger for that to be really worth using. Let me just double check my combat statistics here because I keep updating. I'll maybe share a spreadsheet at the end of the playthrough to show how much time I spent and everything, but I want to see how much time I spent total on combat, just hitting level caps. The Abyss. Obviously, this isn't going to be completely right because there's a couple skills that I over leveled, like strength is 64 and range is 67, but about as close as I'm going to get, right? I will total this, and then we'll finish getting our clears at the depths of about 374 hours spent in abyssal combat. That's pretty cool compared to, total combat. I think I did 1,100 hours in Melvor Realm, so 373 hours in the Abyss seems about right. Well, I got Voidium Entity Plate Legs. I hope that that's Mage, because that would be an upgrade. No, that's melee. It is still an upgrade for melee, though. So, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. How many more clears do I have to do? 3 more. Well, I got the Voidborn shard to drop. Unfortunately, just got a duplicate Entity Plate Legs. That kind of sucks. The reason this is good is that when I get the cape and the shield, I can immediately upgrade it and make it significantly more useful. So both of those items are pretty good. I think the cape is going to be best in slot for abyssal resistance, and the shield is definitely best in slot for abyssal resistance for the rest of the expansion. Hey, I got the pet. That's pretty reasonable. I need to switch to ranged. Okay. Kind of quick about that. It's a good pet, too. It's max health up, I think, before I dismissed it. Let me check. Nearly, max hit. Okay, that's good too. That gets me to clear the dungeon a little bit faster. This is my final kill for now. I have to do more later for a reason, but hey, there's a cape. Sweet. I can go ahead and upgrade that right away. I think chance to apply Void Burst. I can't really tell you if that's better than the Echo Cape is interesting because it's like attack interval, but it's unreliable attack interval. So maybe the Void Burst is more DPS overall. I guess I'll equip it because it's better abyssal resistance. See if it makes a noticeable difference here. Assume this guy is a ranged enemy for like mechanical rather than flavor reasons, because from his portrait, he's the most mage-looking enemy I've ever seen. Excited to just about be done here. Then we'll go back to strongholds. All right, should wrap it up here. Let me try to get some more doubling at the last second. Here we go. Way. Did I get something good? Sure didn't. Those summoning shards, like, man, the balance of summoning shards is fucked in this expansion. I have more than I could ever possibly use from dungeon rewards now, but at the beginning it was so expensive to just get a couple of them. Okay, so shop into the abyss. Here we go. Interval down. That's our last major interval reduction until we beat the final boss, and I probably won't be playing after we beat the final boss. Let me get fully geared up for... We're going to continue to do the Stronghold of Fear until I get the pet and the superior sigil. All right, I got to step away to prep for stream, so I'm just going to let this run. I've gotten 42 clears so far, so we'll see how many, well, not 42 clears of the superior stronghold. That includes the standard and augmented one. But I've gotten, I don't know, maybe 10 clears of the superior one. We'll see if I get lucky here. All right, checking in post stream. Did I get the superior sigil? Probably not. Or the pet would be nice too. Oh, I did. I got it twice apparently, and I got doubled. Right on. Well, and I got the pet. Beautiful. Well, I am ecstatic, over the moon. Wasn't expecting that to happen. Chance to ignore fear, 20% crit chance, 2% abyssal resist, chance to apply slow. That all of that is good. None of that is bad. All right. I guess I still need to do this. I need to get more stronghold rewards, so maybe I'll gear up and do the Stronghold of Blight. I've already partway done with that, right? Vented. I need to get the square sigil. Oh no, I have both of them. Okay. So I can just grind out the superior one. Make sure I don't already have it. Basing on the fact that I got it at some point now. That one. Okay. I have to remind myself, who are the bosses here? Melee and ranged. I guess I could do it with ranged. It'll be good against, it'll be great against this one and okay against this one. Let me just gear up for that. Oh wow, I got the superior enhancement in my first try here. I'm really deleting this dungeon. Like, it's great. But I still need the pet, so I'm gonna keep clearing it until I get the pet. I guess the pet from Stronghold of the Overlords is more interval reduction, so I probably need to go ahead and focus on getting these 10 resolve clears. Additional resolve clears to be able to get that. It seems super worth it, and getting it as soon as possible is probably for the best. Okay, I let this run for a few hours. Let's see if I got the pet. I did. That's a good one. Missile resistance. Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna, well, can't really overnight. I need to overnight something. I don't need XP. To find something that has like a rare drop. I guess I could drop this thing, try to get this crossbow shard, but I don't think that that's going to be better than the throwing daggers. It might be. I don't know. I do have a bunch of void burst bolts. See how rare this stuff is. I have to do something, so I guess if I'm going to do something, it may as well be this thing. I'll just let that run overnight, and then tomorrow I'll try to unlock the Nightmares Tier 2 and get the Superior Sigil and the pet, and then we can try to make Overlords happen. I think what I'd actually rather do here, it's going to be really slow and inefficient, but I'd rather just AFK Depth of Resolve, which is going to require me to change my gear around to just focus as heavily as possible on Abyssal Resist. But if I overnight that, even if it's really inefficient, I should wake up in the morning and have enough of these clears available that I can start doing the Stronghold of the Overlords, which is what I need to get more interval reduction. So that is going to be my plan. I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy and then do that instead. I had to run away. I didn't have time to swap out my gear in time. I don't think I can completely AFK the Depths of Resolve overnight. So I got to do something else. I guess I could do Depths of Dissolve to try to get this Eldritch Curse gloves. Eldritch Curse is really important. If I have to swap off of it, like here I was using the Yak and Imp, and it was terrible. Because it meant I wasn't implying Eldritch Curse, which is a great way to keep the enemies from constantly topping off their health. Just having a thing I can equip in the glove slot that helps with that. I guess it sucks to lose these guys because having stun on combat styles other than melee is really strong. I gotta find something to overnight. I already have the pet. I guess I could do something that I don't have the pet. Have every pet except the Depths of Isolation. See what the drop is there. Hold on. Pretty good pet. 10% abyssal damage. Only have 10 clears, and it's a 1 in 20. That's probably overkill, though. I'll probably get way more than 20 clears. I gotta pick something useful here. I was hoping to do a stronghold, but those are already done. I guess I could sit here and attentively wait to get access to the tier 2 stronghold. What are the enemies in this one? Melee and magic. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a great option to overnight, especially since I don't care about XP. So I think I'm just gonna go back to my original plan of fighting this thing. It's boring, but it'll get me what I need. All right, this should be overkill, I think. Fighting this artificer. Now I've got the crossbow. Let me try to work on more important project here. So let's get another 10 clears the depths of resolve. I'll have to pay attention and do that. Here's the Void Burst Barrage crossbow. I'll try it at some point. I don't know if it's going to beat the throwing daggers, but worth a shot, I guess. I feel slightly less bad about overnighting that guy because I needed him for a task and didn't realize it. I'm actually pretty close to 65 tasks. I think I could squeeze it out if I really wanted to. I'd have to do 6 more. Okay, I finally got these Void Burst gloves. I think they're pretty good. They're definitely better stats than the Seismic Toss, plus 4% abyssal resistance. The only problem is the ability to stun with any combat style from these gloves is really useful. So hard to justify swapping to it. I'll try it for a run and see how it affects things. I've died a couple times. I didn't get to record it, but I lost one of my God's enhancements, which kind of sucks, and I lost one of my Seismic Toss gloves. Okay, this should be my last clear. I have been getting really unlucky on drops. Try not to complain about that anymore, ever since I got really lucky earlier in the expansion. But I keep getting like duplicate pieces instead of new pieces, unfortunately. So I haven't really gotten anything particularly good. I probably will have to run this place more in the future, but hopefully I can get some more upgrades that let me actually AFK it. Okay, got my 20th clear. Still really dry on good drops from there, but now I can run the stronghold. I think it just makes sense to try to do it with rain, so I'm going to re-gear for that. Okay, I think I got a gear set up here. I do think that we have to be careful with fear, because almost everything can fear me in here. I'm just going to try doing it with ranged, and we'll see how it goes. I'll report in. The interesting thing about this dungeon is that you fight uh, every boss, which is kind of cool. It's like the first few rounds are really stupid. Show me monster list here. You fight 10 plants, 10 chickens, and then every boss, which is kind of fun. Let me give it a try. Mostly following the wiki's recommended gear guide. This Pure Crystal Defender is really interesting because it gives you a very small chance to crystallize the enemy, which none of the bosses are immune to. So it's just an extra possible stun, which is pretty useful. This is probably the most annoying enemy in the run. Zakul, because the combat triangle is bad and chance to hit is like 16%, which is pretty ass. But I can see why you want crystallize. You're hitting so often, and a 3% chance to apply is actually pretty significant. And if he happens to be feared at the same time as you crystallize him, yeah, it's like 9 seconds of 100% accuracy, essentially. Well, went from almost dead to dead very quickly there. I got my first clear. Let's see. Did I get lucky and get the square early? Probably not. Nope. Now I just need the square. I'm not quite dry yet, I think, but I'm up to 7 circles and 2 triangles, so no square. Perfect timing. Got the square on my most recent run because I need to AFK for like 5 hours, and I expect that's how long it's going to take to get the second square. So let me go ahead and equip all 3 of these guys, and then we're just going to let this run for like 5.5 hours or so, and hopefully get the ability to do the superior stronghold. All right, so we did 5 hours of this, which was how many clears? Really? 3 clears in 5 hours? That seems pretty bad. I feel like I should be able to do better than that. Maybe it's just because I left it on ranged only instead of micromanaging my combat style. But I got lucky. Okay. Pretty lucky. I don't have to keep running it then. I'll do the superior stronghold after this. Hey, so I just got the superior drop pretty early, and it got doubled, which is nice in case I ever lose it. This is one I'm definitely going to be using. All of this is great. I guess the skilling stuff isn't really helpful to me right now, but it might be, I guess, if I have to go back to summoning or something and make more tablets. But the chance to convert a miss into a hit is pretty cool.
And that stacking up to 5 times, so that's 10% chance to convert a miss into a hit on top of the existing, like, Diamond Luck Potion effect from Agility. And minus 4% enemy resistance is great. So I'm going to keep running this Stronghold because really the thing I want more than that is the pet, since that gives me interval reduction. I'm going to go to bed. If I do this purely with ranged, it's really inefficient. Like, as you saw, I get less than 1 clear per hour, but maybe 10 clears isn't going to be enough. It's only a 1 in 30 drop for the pet, so hopefully I'll wake up and have it. We'll find out. I'll talk to you in a few seconds. Okay, so my little worse than 1 clear an hour. Let this run for 10 hours and got like 9 clears, 8 clears. Did not get the pet. So I think for the rest of this, I really need to do this attentively. Otherwise, it's going to take way too long. And by attentively, I just mean switch to an appropriate weapon when I get to an enemy. That makes me get at least a couple clears an hour instead of less than 1 clear an hour. So I'll continue to do that until the bet drops today. Been turning in these tasks as I've gone here. I got another one to turn in the Overlord Enhancement Superior. I still only got that to drop the 1 time, right? Yeah. Okay. But still going for the pet. Hey, just got the pet. How many total clears did I do? I think I did 12 before the Superior Stronghold. So yeah, I got it under rate. That's really good. I didn't want to be here for a super long time. I need to find something else to do now. I think what I'm going to do is try to get the Exodius Amulet. I'm just going to pick one of the enemies for I'll talk about it more in a second. I just have to pick an enemy to start farming. Actually, that's something I can AFK, and I'm able to play a little attentively now. So instead, let's go to the Stronghold of Nightmares and try to get the pet from this place. All right. I had stepped away, but I just came back, and I've got the first 3 normal mode enhancements. A little bit too far into another run here, but I guess I can just bail and continue going with it. Let's equip these guys and do the augmented Nightmare Stronghold. Here we go. Well, I got the augmented square early, so hopefully I'll get lucky and get the triangle so I can AFK the superior stronghold. Unfortunately, did not get the triangle, so I'm going to have to AFK this for a bunch of hours, probably just to get it on the very next drop. That's okay, then we'll go to the superior stronghold after. It's probably going to be overkill. It's probably going to be extreme overkill, to be honest. 16 of these, and I only need 1. That's fine. I guess I'll just finish this clear since I'm already on the boss, and then we will do the superior stronghold. Hey, I got the pet on the second clear, which is really the only thing I want from this because I think the superior enhancement is kind of useless. It's more soul points on kill. Who cares? I have infinite soul points. More quantity when making abyssal consumables, I guess, is kind of useful, but not super important. Chance to ignore silence. Who cares? So given that I got the pet, I might bail there. Let me double check what my other tasks are first. Okay, so the superior enhancement also has a stacking chance to apply sleep, which might actually be worth it. It might be worth staying just for that. The reason being that I apply sleep automatically with my current mage and range setup, but not with melee. And sleep is another thing that locks down the enemy that makes them guaranteed to be hit and just kind of slows down their self-healing. So I think getting it even just for that sleep effect might be worth it for an occasional set of fights. So I will stay here until I get the superior enhancement. But at least I have the pet. So I need to get 1 more dungeon pet. It's from the Depths of Isolation. It's plus accuracy. I might try to go for that sooner rather than later since it's pretty helpful. But everything else, I never got the pet from harvesting, which I have no reason to ever go back to harvesting, especially not just to get a pet. So really, it's just going to be this superior drop, and then Depths of Isolation for the pet, and then I'm probably going to try to make the Exodius Fez necklace for the Abyss, and then I think it's time to wrap up the expansion. I don't have too much else to get. Maybe I have a few other pieces of gear to farm just to get as much abyssal resistance as possible. Well, that's some nice timing. I got the sigil right before having to go to bed, so I can overnight something else here. We're going to work on getting the Fez necklace, the Exodius necklace. So I'm just going to pick the enemy that's the most annoying to farm for that. Need a second to find it. You need 1,000 amulets of power, and your best option is the Withering Bone Guard, who is melee. We want to fight him with ranged. Okay. I'm also going to just try to maximize my respawn time since none of this other shit really matters. Okay, I think I got this about as fast as it can possibly be. So the respawn time is like less than 1 second, and he dies pretty fast. So even got this hunter's hat equipped just to get the respawn timer as low as possible. So hopefully I'll wake up and have a whole boatload of these amulets of power. Checking in on 10 hours of farming the Withering Bone Guard, see how many amulets of power I'm sitting here. Not a lot. Wow. So that was almost 11 hours, and it got me 20% of the way there. This is the longest grind out of all, even with like a small respawn time. I might need to get rid of this thing, minus 0.5 second monster respawn timer, just because of the minus 100% chance to double loot combat. I'll try that and see if that makes a difference. All right, let this run for several more hours, this time going for loot doubling instead of the respawn time thing on cartography. See if it makes much of a difference. I'm getting significantly fewer kills per hour. I was getting 800 before, and I'm getting closer to 680. 165 divided by 60. Okay. Doing okay on drops per hour. I might bail from this just because it's a really significant grind. Like it's like potentially a couple days just to get the amulets of power. Although this is the hardest one to do, so once I finish the bone guards, it may as well go ahead and finish. I guess I'll keep sticking to it. I could probably finish the final dungeon without this necklace, but it still seems pretty good. All right, checking out on 12 hours of AFKing this bone guard. This is a really, really long grind. I think that they kind of calibrated it incorrectly, to be honest. Like, I think most of these enemies, it probably shouldn't have been 1,000 amulets that you needed, right? 100 would have been fine. That still would have been a pretty significant grind. So I've got 732, so I'm like not quite 3/4 of the way there, just with the bone guard. I am not out of throwing knives yet, but I have been burning through them, so I got to be a little careful with that. All right, I've checked in a couple times since last time I recorded. Let's just see how close we are here. I need another 59. So as soon as I get those, the next one to work on is actually a little bit easier than this guy. It's going to be the Fractured Manticore. Drops the Amulet of Precision. That's the next rarest drop. So once I'm done with the Manticore and this guy, it should be mostly downhill from there. All right, I'm on the home stretch here, and apparently on the home stretch, I'm getting kind of unlucky. I only need 19 more of these, so I'm going to have to babysit it a little bit before I can swap to the Amulet of Precision, but we're close at least. I'm in kind of a bad situation where I can't really babysit this any longer, but I'm also, if I come back to it in a couple hours, I'll have overshot my goal. Because I have 9 of these now, and I need 15 more of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch to the Amulet of Precision enemy, the Fractured Manticore. I got to gear up with melee to do that. All right, on the Fractured Manticore, I'll check in a little bit, and once I get a chance to pay attention to this, I'll finish up the power amulets. I've been at this for a bit. I definitely get more kills per hour, and the drop rate's much better. About 110 in 2.5 hours, so won't take an entire day to get to the total that I need here, because I already had some from previous grinding. I had 330, it's about a third of the way there. Okay, pretty decent chance that I overshot the Amulet of Precision here. I let it run for like 13 hours. That's okay if I did. Obviously, I'd prefer not to overshoot if possible, but let's find out. It might actually be perfect. I got 904. Wow, that's great. Okay, well, I need 60 more of those, and I can play somewhat attentively this morning, so I'm going to let that go until I get to 1,000. Let's go ahead and upgrade the ones that I have. I need 60 more amulets of precision and 15 more amulets of power. And then we can start working on the easy ones. The 2 hard ones are done then.
All right, I'm popping out to lunch. I still don't quite have many amulets as I need. I still need another 45. So I am going to start the next one, which is Amulet of Enchantment, the Withering Bone Mage, which should be much easier. That one I only need to kill. It's like a 10%, 9% drop chance. So I only need to kill like 11,000 of them instead of like 50,000 of them. So I'd be able to spend significantly less time at it. And make sure that it's not going to like kill me. Switch to it once this one dies here. Yeah, it looks like maximum hit's not an issue at all. Yeah, this is going way faster. Only 5 hours of this, and I'm already more than half done. So the rest of this grind should be pretty quick. At 655 amulets of enchantment already. I can play a little attentively now, so I'm going to switch back to the ones that I need to finish up here. So we'll start with this guy, Fractured Manticore. Since it's the same attack style, I'll try to finish up the precision amulets first. There we go. Overshot it by 1 amulet, but that's okay. Go ahead and upgrade this guy. There we go. So I've got 10 of these. Let's go get the 15 amulets of power I need. And then we can start focusing on the easier ones. You have to switch combat styles. 1 sec. Oh, I just got the 100th one. Didn't realize it. I was just looting, and I was like, okay, it must be like one more. So let's go ahead and upgrade this guy. Yes. All right. So now we've got 2 of these, and the rest should be easy. But let me go ahead and finish up the mage ones. I was already most of the way done with that. Okay, so I hit my target for the Amulet of Enchantment. Here we go. Now we're done with 3 out of 5. I have to finish doing the distance and the corruption, which should be the fastest. So I am going to overnight this, but I'm almost certainly going to overkill it. I already have 135, and the drop rate's pretty high. So I don't really have another choice. I don't really have any other thing to do that would be worth overnighting other than this right now. So I guess I'll be back in a few seconds from your perspective to tell you that I've got 300 of these amulets or 3,000 of these amulets or whatever. And then we'll do the corruption one. And then we're very close to being done. I just got to pick up a couple straggler pets and probably do some gear from the Depths of Resolve and a couple Slayer monsters. Like I feel like there's still going to be a couple these boots I probably want to pick up just to get my abyssal resistance as high as possible for the final boss. All right. Q extreme overkill on the amulets of distance. I might even have like double or triple overshot it. I guess it wasn't that bad. I did overshoot it 1.5 times or so. Okay, so I've got one more thing to get, and I have to track down where it is. The Catacomb Terror and the Withering Catacombs, and I actually have a decent number of these already. I'm already most of the way there. I already fought this guy quite a bit to get the Wither Stab Rapier, which I barely used. So I have a decent number of these amulets already. Yeah, I'm already 40% of the way there. His drop rate is much more, like 20%. So like every 5 kills. All right, this corruption amulet is by far the fastest. It's like the power amulet took me 2 days. The precision amulet took me almost a whole day. And then these other ones, this one only took me like a couple hours. I only need 1 more amulet and then we're done. And there we go. It's our last drop. Let me run away. So upgrade this guy here. Select one of these guys. Oh, I have to upgrade all of them. Try that again. Upgrade. There we go. Exodius. What a huge fucking pain in the ass. But the stats on it are absurd, right? Like I'm currently wielding. I have this echoing amulet for the interval boost. And the stats on it are okay, but just like look at the difference in stats. It's fucking ridiculous. It's hard for me to really perceive what these values mean, but I assume this makes you really accurate and hit really hard, and it gives you 6% maximum hit and 20% accuracy. So I've got a couple bits of cleanup to do before I finish out the expansion. I need to get the Depths of Isolation pet still, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. This one, the boss is melee, so I should probably run the dungeon with ranged. So let me make sure I'm all geared up for that. Yeah, it seems like I'm doing noticeably more damage. My maximum hit is quite a bit higher with this thing equipped. This is pretty crazy. That's cool. All right, just curious how quickly I annihilate this boss now with all of my stacking buffs. I did go ahead and switch back to the seismic toss glove just because I think having access to stun is really strong on magic and ranged. Yeah, he's getting deleted here. He still takes a long time because he's got a lot of health, but pretty doable. Couple other cleanup things I might do. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to run Depths of Resolve. I'm going to really try to gear to make sure that I can actually AFK it, even if it's a bit slower, just because having to switch combat styles all the time is exhausting. I probably need to make some more runes because I think I'm out of despair runes, which I don't want to go back to Melvor realm to do anything, but you don't consume those terribly fast. If I make like 1,000 of them, it'll probably last me 50 hours or something. Hey, I got this pet on the very first clear. Fantastic. That's a good one too. Plus accuracy is something I really need. All right. Well, I got that drop way faster than I was expecting. Uh, wait, is it not pet located, not update? Oh, pet unlocked. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, 11 clears. Pretty good deal. Let me see. Let's look at pets really quick. I've got everything except for the harvesting pet, who cares, and obviously the final depth pet, which is what'll close out the expansion. And then my other pets from the Melvor realm don't really matter. Uh, so I think next I'm going to go back to the Melvor realm. And I'm going to make some of those runes I was talking about, and then I'm going to see if I can gear up to be completely AFK in Depths of Resolve. Spare runes. Here we go. Okay, here on my first clear, I'm really having to wear some tortured gear here to make this doable because there's a couple enemies that can just really fuck me up. One of them is the very first enemy, which does an attack that's based on your max hit. Not quite killing me just yet, but it means I have to be really careful with equipping upgrades because they can put me in range of getting one shot by him. Uh, I think I might still be a little bit in danger of dying here. There's a couple of drops I can get from this dungeon that would help. If I got the shield, that would be really nice. If I got the magic pants, I'm currently using the range pants just to squeeze out a little bit more abyssal resistance. Um, so hopefully, I really just want to like let this run for several hours so I can get all of the loot from this dungeon because I have very little of it. I need the shield. Actually, I have more of it than I think. I just don't have the good shit, right? I need the vagrant robes, and the vagrant bottoms would be really, really good. But I also don't want to like play this attentively. I just want to get the drops. And I have to do it at least 5 more times to pick up this spell, which permanently reduces enemy abyssal resistance, so it could be useful. Okay, I've been really unlucky with drops here, but finally got the Voidium Shield. Go ahead and upgrade that right away. Uses damage taken from Void Burst, which is kind of terrible. I mean, the reason to equip it is for the 13% Abyssal Resist. We should also had a chance to apply Void Burst or something. I guess the other stats are decent compared to the other shield that I've been trying to use. All right, finally got one of the pieces that I was missing. Voidium Vagrant Robes. I don't think these are actually better than, yeah, the Slayer chest. It is an extra 1% Abyssal Resistance. So really the thing I need is the Magic Pants. I think I have almost everything else from in here that I could possibly get. So we got the Voidium Plate Legs, the Voidium Artificer Legs. But now I need the pants, and then I can leave. All right, well, I think I'm relatively safe to go ahead and just AFK this. I haven't had anything disastrous happen in a while. I'm a little worried about running out of these Eldritch Eyeballs, but I can craft some more of them soon. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. Yeah, so hopefully I let this run for 5 hours and I get that last item I need, the magic pants. It would have been great if it was the first item I got, because it would have been really, really helpful to have a long time ago, but I'll get it last. That's fine. And then I think I can go ahead and do the final depth. I mean, I might check out a couple more enemies just to get a couple straggler pieces of gear, like all these boots. But other than that, I'm basically ready to beat the game. It's pretty exciting. Okay, I was able to AFK this for like 5 hours. 36 chests hopefully is enough to get the pants that I need. Didn't get him, did I? No, I didn't. Oh, painful. Well, at least I can let it run. I know I can let it run, and that's relatively safe, and I'm still okay on runes. Yeah. So I'll just keep letting it run tonight to see if I get the silly drop. That's what I need to finish the game here. Ugh, I'm really dry on this item. It's a 1 in 41, and I've opened like over 100 chests right now. I thought I just got some pants, but it's the ones I already have. Right. Gotten a lot of copies of stuff I don't need. All right, well, I am out of Eldritch Eyeballs, the 200k that I got from the Township task. So I'm going to pop over to Summoning really quick and remake as many of those as I can get away with here. Little dangerous because I have so much negative chance to preserve, but I probably also have enough Eldritch Tendrils that I can make enough to get me to the end of the expansion. We'll see. You know, without fully respecking back into skilling, I'm not really able to make as many of these tablets as I'd like. Do have a break glass in case of emergency option. There is a task to get another 150,000 of them. I can kill 500 of these Eldritch aberrations, so I might do that if I wake up tomorrow and I still don't have the pants that I need and I need to keep, you know, acquiring more eyeballs. Okay, so I overnighted the Depths of Resolve. Really hope I get this drop. It's a lot of chests, 54 chests. 1 in 41 drop, so a decent chance it'll come just from this. I think I got it. Boyum Vagrant Robes. Okay. Vagrant Bottoms is the one. Now I finally have every drop from this place. You go ahead and get this clear, and then I think I can beat the game this morning. I got a couple other things I want to do. I want to pick up a couple other pieces of gear that I'm missing, but that took forever. Okay. In these last two chests. All right. Yeah. So next thing, let's go ahead and do these guys. Not these guys. Although I might kill this guy just to get the Eldritch Eyeballs. Yeah, I may as well start working on that now. So let me re-gear for that really quick. All right, so this guy is dying relatively quickly, but 500 kills is a lot. So I'll probably be here for a little bit. Might not quite be able to beat the expansion this morning. We'll see. I am going to have to sneak around and pick up a couple items that I'm missing, but I will try if I can get these eyeballs. Maybe also go back into summoning and just make another couple 10,000 of them. Just I hate it because I'm not. All my agility obstacles are not set up for summoning. Make summoning quite bad actually. I guess I could get out of the way and try to get these. I think that am I actually going to use these? I'm probably going to use the Slayer equipment, right? I think the Slayer equipment has better offensive stats, even if these have plus 1% missile resist. Um, maybe I don't even bother with those because I guess I don't know if the final dungeon, if the final boss really hard requires the abyssal resist. It might. All right, I got my 500 kills here. Let me get these eyeballs. Took like an hour. It wasn't too bad, but now I should be set for the rest of my time with Melvor. I think I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to try to get some of this extra gear. I think I can probably skip the helmets. Where's the guys drop the boots? Yeah. Guess I'll start by trying to get the melee boots since I'm already geared for ranged. Oh, not a great start. I'm pretty freaking dry on this guy. I've killed him 1,000 times and I still don't have the 1 in 250 drop, so 1 in 4. I may not be finishing the expansion until later this evening. Because looking at the guide, it does seem like I need all the pieces. Like, this item is great, but it's 6% less abyssal resist, which might be enough to get me killed. So I want to make sure I'm able to max that out. All right, finally got the drop. This was on how many kills? A lot. 1,146. Great. All right, let's get all the other boots here. I think I'm going to need them all. All right, this is a Slayer task. Okay. Well, I want to stay on my current weapon, so currently doing range, so we want to fight melee enemies. Doppelganger. Yeah, it looks like all of the armor drops are 1 in 250, so hopefully, given I went almost quintuple dry, I'll get some of these a little early here. That would be nice. The wiki recommends the full melee armor set, the full range set, but I only need the pants and the boots for the mage set. I use Slayer gear instead. I think there's no chance of dying if I do that, so I will skip the mage body. I think actually I have the mage body. That was from Desperate. I'll skip the mage hat though. Okay, I got the helmet here relatively quickly, so I've got a full Voidium set for melee now. Let me sort helmet, boots, plate legs, plate body. Let's work on getting the range set now. That means I want to be magic gear? Yeah. All right, got these ranged boots. Let's get out of here and go get the helmet, which I think I need still. Is that this guy? Yeah. Don't think this guy represents any kind of real risk to me dying. No, it looks like he's completely safe. All right, helmet dropped pretty quickly. That wasn't too bad. So now I just need to get the magic boots, and I think I'm good to go since I don't need the other pieces. The magic boots are from somebody. Hold on. Is it this guy? Yeah. Void Dweller. So I got to switch to melee for that. I didn't notice this, but I guess it's good I went dry because this Void Gargantuan thing was a task. And I think that actually gets me to 65 tasks complete, so I can finally get the enhanced production scroll, which I will probably never use. But I mean, that's nice. It's cool to get more stuff, I guess. It's cool to have met more requirements for items. I'm pretty done with this expansion. I think this is about the level of completion I usually play to. All right, well, I'm drying this last item, the magic boots, and I need to prep for stream anyway. I'm gonna have to stream for about 5 hours, so I'm gonna way overshoot and probably get like 10 boots or more. But once I get them, I think I have everything I need to finally finish the expansion, so I'll come back and spend some time on that. I'll see you in a couple seconds. Okay, I ended up getting distracted right after stream, so this ran for a really long time and killed way too many Void Dwellers, way more than I needed to. And I have 9 boots. Fine. I think I can go do the final boss now. Let me get my shit together, get my gear set together, and we'll go give it a shot. 1 sec. All right, I think I'm all ready to go. First phase is ranged. I'm making some extra stone skin peppers just in case, but I'm going to try to use the max hit points thing instead. Not exactly using what the wiki recommends. I'm using this ring instead of the ring they recommend, which is the ranged impactor ring. I think it'll be okay. Let's give it a try. So it starts me off against the boss. I see what phase he is. I think I get time to repair in between phases just fine. Looks cool. Zon the Abyssal King. Amount of damage I'm doing seems pretty decent. None of his attacks. Oh, okay. Manifestation of the Abyss could kill me. Sometimes buffs up to 735k. I don't know what governs that. Does he have something that's raising his max hit? Light. Max HP. Oh, maybe it's when he inflicts sleep on me. Touch of Blight does that. Okay, so I can manual eat, right? But because he inflicts laceration, if I hold down manual eat, then I'll die. So I just have to tactically manual eat if my health gets below my auto eat threshold. It must be why he has laceration to keep you from eat spam cheesing through this fight. He might also be doing some bullshit where he like damages my reduces my resistance. Hard to tell. I'm also using the glasses. I think the wiki recommends the uh, echo boots in the passive slot, but the glasses reduce his max hit, which I figured would be pretty useful.
Right now, this seems to be going fine. I think there is a risk of me dying depending on when and how, if he uses Manifestation of the Abyss, but so far it hasn't really been an issue. That was a little scary when he did touch a blight there. I guess if I had the Echo Boots, then I would be able to probably get down to 0.25 seconds for my attack interval, but not super worried about it right now. Stun is really paying the bills, it seems like. Sleep right now would be fantastic. If one of these attacks can land sleep, must be pretty resistant to it. Actually makes me wonder if he's immune to it. He can be stunned. Given that he can sleep me, he must be immune. Like, don't dare scroll down in case I quickly need to heal here. Seven-second stun is really good. Healing up. Oh yeah, his Manifestation of the Abyss max hit. I think I need to watch that. If he goes to do that, I need to just hold down eat. He doesn't get stunned out of it. Got several attacks that could kill me now. Also just hold down eat only when his attack's about to go off. Probably the strategy to make sure I don't die here. I don't like fearing him when he's on a stun cooldown. Hold food down whenever he goes to do an attack. I think we got phase 1 down. I don't know what the highest chance of death is here. Okay. Fight paused. Now he's ranged. So now I need to change everything over. So we do this guy, and I have my 2 magic pieces here. We want the robes. We want the pants and the magic boots for those ones. Vagrant. Vagrant bottoms, vagrant boots. And what else are we recommending? Recommends a shadow wand. I'm going to be using this one. I don't think that's a mistake. Go ahead and try to wither him. I think actually DPS is really important here. I wonder if the Void Seeker glasses aren't the way to go. I'll go ahead and equip these in the passive slot. I think that he eventually will kill you if you can't do enough DPS to him is the problem, basically. Looks like we want the Lightning Spirit here to be able to have a chance to stun him, or maybe I can just keep these gloves. It's probably more important than having the Void Burst gloves. Might be a little tricky. A couple things I can do to micro this. I can start by casting this spell, which is guaranteed to give him minus 13% abyssal resist. Then I can try to micro in a couple other resist bonuses. I can swap off the Withering consumable at some point. I'm just trying to think what else I want here. I think we do this guy, Lightning Spirit. If we have that, then I can do that guy, and that'll be safe. And then I think I'm good to start the fight. Let me just make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting here. Go for it. Oh, I did forget something. We test to this thing. I while I'm switching. I want to get off this spell now that it's already been applied. It recommends Black Hole. I guess the advantage of Black Hole is that I can spam eat completely safely. Because it's never going to interrupt any of my special attacks. I can't completely spam eat. Other things I can do, I can run this until it gets to 10 stacks. That's a permanent buff. Once he's got 10 stacks of Wither, I can swap off of that guy. This phase seems quite a bit less dangerous just based on the base damage all of his shit does. Like, nothing looks like it one-shots me out the gate. Let me just turn on the resist instead since it's more immediately helpful. Other stuff that I can do, I can, while he's stunned, switch to those boots. Oh shit, I made a mistake. Oh fuck, I don't have those pre-prepared. I had those prepared boot list. Caught it in time before it killed me. That 10 stacks of elusive boots? It is, okay. I had a couple other things I could do to kind of permanently debuff him, but I want to play it safe here. This phase seems much easier, though. His damage is starting to go up, so that's a little scary. Oh, and I forgot to... Fuck, no one... Maybe turn on his max hit reduction to keep him out of kill me range, but maybe killing him faster is more important. Now let me watch. Abyssal Barrage can't kill me, so I'm just going to not heal through that. And my magic setup is really good right now. Okay, and his final phase, I have to melee him. So we want... I think we just need to kill him as fast as possible. So we want the Void Ray, and we want all of the Voidium gear. That's basically all of it. Boots. Right. And Void Burst gloves are fine. Echo Drifter cape is fine. Just to use the Lurker gem, you must really need to like kill him fast. I'm surprised that it recommends that. Crystal Defender, really? Yeah, he must need to die like really quickly for this to make sense. Another source of stun, I guess, is the idea. Use the Void Burst gloves. I think I'm gonna keep the Eldritch Abyss ring because the fear is really helpful. Eyeball and Minotaur. Okay. Anything else I want to change before I start this? I might not need the fear consumable. He has a pretty high chance of inflicting me with fear, huh? Maybe that's the reason we want that over the resist. You want to move to Dark Waters. Let me do that really fast. Okay. And this needs to be the whip. And if I can switch that back to the fear consumable, I think we're ready to attempt it. Pray for the best. I'll be ready to spam eat if I need to. Might actually want to switch this to this so I can get a double corruption. Evasion and bleed. Okay, the evasion might actually save my bacon a little. Fortunately, I'll be able to stack max stacks of laceration because I'm fighting with melee on the last phase. Try to put anything on there that's permanent. We may as well give him some wither. Assuming he's not immune to wither. 75% chance to ignore a wither. Okay. Get him up to 10 stacks, and I'll put the fear thing back on. I can still fear him with this ring. Now, the dream would be to very quickly switch to magic and cast this on him once to reduce his... I have to wait until he's feared and stunned, I think. Okay, I got that off. That was actually really easy to just wait for him to get stunned. Wither's up to 9 stacks. Everything else is looking pretty good. Let's put this back on. Make sure that he's feared as often as we can possibly fear him. Nothing that he's doing can one-shot me yet. I guess it could if he stuns me. That would be bad. Oh, getting great crystallized procs. That's fucking fantastic. I just keep getting it back to back. Yeah, this thing is really strong. Like, it sounds like 3% never happens, but every time I attack, I'm hitting him like 6 times, so the chance of the crystallize actually landing is surprisingly high. What I really need is to fear him. But he has a 75% chance to ignore fear, which is why I guess we use this, and the ring makes it more likely for I can get it stunned before the crystallize ends. No, it happened like a split second. But I think we got this in the bag. I don't think he can hit me hard enough, really. I mean, if he hits me with Command of the King, watch for that. It's clutch swapping over to that spell to give him an extra huge abyssal resist penalty. Let me hold down heal so he doesn't kill me there with this. That would really suck when he's almost dead. Hey, look at that. The final depth. Mastery in all skills, cost to produce things, non-combat skill interval, attack interval, max HP, 25% mastery pool cap, resource preservation cap, additional quantity of all items, and chance of corruption progress instantly fill at the start of the fight. Sweet. Well, I beat Melvor Idol, everybody. Spent like 5,000 hours on this game, almost as much as RuneScape. Now, it's 5,000 hours total. That includes idle time, which is 98% of my time playing it. But it did take me months to start from playing this game on stream to beating it. It rules. It's really, really, really good. I've already praised it a bit in the playthrough, so I don't have too much else to add to all the things that I've already talked about. But I think it's an excellent way of thinking about RuneScape as a single-player game. It is probably the most RuneScape-like game that I've played. It's really well structured. Like the way combat talks to the non-combat skills, the way that everything is gated is beautiful. I'm really happy that I played it on adventure mode. I don't think it made the game significantly more difficult, but it made the routing quite a bit more interesting. Um, all the expansions were great. I guess cartography, there's a couple things that are kind of pain points. Astrology is kind of annoying. Cartography is really annoying. It doesn't have to be though, just the way they happen to deploy it. It makes me really excited for Melvor 2. And I will probably make a video essay about Melvor eventually. I still have to finish the RS3 one, but my thought for a title is Melvor, what if RuneScape was good? We'll see when Melvor Idol 2 comes out. I'm not going to play it during early access. I've decided never to do early access again. I'll wait until it gets a 1.0 launch, and then I'll probably do a week 1, maybe even stream of it, because I'm pumped for more Melvor. This has been a treat. Props to Malx and Pratt and everyone else that's worked on the game. Beautiful art, beautiful mechanics, really well balanced, I think. Everything is calibrated perfectly, and basically every idea in this Abyss expansion is fantastic. Like, I would love to see old school RuneScape one day pursue a sort of idle game prestige reset like this game's Abyss mode. It's fantastic that it respects every choice that you've made, all of the grinding you already did in the non-Abyss realm, and a lot of your gear and stuff still carries over and is somewhat useful for some time in this expansion. So, yeah, that would be if I could like beam ideas into Jagex's head. I would say come up with something like this for old school, because it would be so cool to only be able to access this toward the end of the old school playthrough, like post quest cape or whatever, and have all of this prestige stuff to do, because that's what it is. It feels like the Grandma Apocalypse or any of the other sort of ridiculous endgame prestige like events in other idle games. And my argument is that RuneScape is basically an idle game. So if you could take this idea and port it into RuneScape, I think people would love it. And it would be a really great use of their dev time. Thanks for joining me on this journey. We'll see you for Melvor 2. Bye, everybody.